This is my first impressions of the Elder Scrolls Online's Morrowind expansion. Uh, it is the newest expansion to come out for the Elder Scrolls Online. It's probably one of the biggest and most hyped up expansion of the game. Partially because of the nostalgia and whatnot, and because it's Morrowind, and a lot of people have fond memories of Morrowind, including myself. And I still remember, getting the game back in 2002, when the game came out for Xbox. It had like the Game of the Year edition, which had all the original expansions and all that. So I remember a lot of late nights and long hours spent playing that game, and even to this day, still sometimes go back to it and reminisce about the game. First good thing that I like about this game is just how nice it looks. I mean, obviously, it's in this new engine, and obviously it's gonna look a lot more detailed than the original game. But even just like having more color and having it being greener and more trees, like even being able to see the mountain from this far, it's kind of a nice little thing. And because back then, when the game came out, obviously it was low res compared to now. It was really brown, and you can't really see too far out. And that was mostly just because of limitations back then. Like even on the Xbox, you had limited RAM. You didn't have that much disk space, so they had to figure out a way to make it so that it could fit. So that's the first good thing about it. I kind of really like just how good, how much attention to detail they have. They kept all the original, a lot of the original flowers, flora, and animals like that. It is from the original game, and so they definitely try to make it as much like the original game as possible. Like the only real nitpick, if I can call it nitpick, really, is just that it doesn't really feel quite as big as the original game. And that just might have to do with just the differences in the game in general. Right? In Morrowind, it might have just felt bigger back then, because they really didn't have anything to compare it to, and it might have just felt bigger because of the fact that there wasn't really as much going on as it is in this game. But like even if you compare it to Big City, like in Big City here, it's not quite as big. It's only got like 4 or 5 of these pylons, and I think a big says that it has these pylons that's kind of in the middle of the water, and each one has a couple of floors each, and then the very end is the big temple, which is where it is. But in the original game, it had, I don't remember exactly how many these square pylons it had, but it definitely had at least like maybe 10 or so back then. And each one had 3 floors that you can go on. And then basement, I believe. I don't remember if every one of these pylons had a basement, but some of them did. And so it definitely feels a lot smaller than this and the original game. And I kind of understand why. Primarily being because this expansion is about 600 years before the start of the original game. So I can kind of understand that this isn't quite as completely built as it was in the original game. Another reason I could probably see why is that as part of the design reasons, they probably wanted to make this city a little bit easier to navigate for players, because you can have thousands of people going through here, and it was, like the original game, it was really difficult to get around and figure out what was going on and try to find out where exactly each thing was. And I know it took me a really long time for me to really even really grasp the whole of the big city, just because of how much was going on in there and how hard it was to really remember where exactly it was. Like even to this day, I probably only remember like a handful of like important things in this. I just remember the trainers, some of the basement areas, and this. That's about it. Like besides some of the trainers and merchants and stuff like that, you know, it was really hard to kind of tell a difference between each of the square pylons. So I can completely understand why they didn't want to make it quite as big as the original Vivic City was, you know, just so that would be easier for players to deal with. And so that I can kind of understand, but it should be kind of nice to have a little more going on and support by the pylons, because it's looking at this only maybe a handful of things going on here. So this would have been nice to have a little bit more going on with like these 3 pylons here. This would kind of give it a little bit more feeling of that there isn't much wasted space. As far as like the whole of the map, I still haven't really explored the whole area here, so I really can't say just how big this is compared to the original, but hopefully it keeps some of the size of the original, because that was part of the charm of the original game. It was really huge, and it just gave that feeling of exploration that you could go off in a direction like this. So we'll see just kind of how that goes. I'll probably do some more gameplay videos as I go along, just to kind of see how things are going as far as that. And it came with a new class. It's the Warden class. From what I can tell, it's kind of meant to be a bit of a hybrid though class, where it's not meant to be, particularly in one area of DPS or healing between things, but you can kind of mix and match based on what you want to do. It has the 3 main areas of Animal Companion. That's for some DPS, and the ultimate it gives you an Animal Companion to take some of the damage for you. Green balance is the healing section. It gives you, it looks like it's a lot of AoE healing. Like this one I got was like you drop down an AoE and it will heal you and your minions. This one is a little bit of DPS and it's tank as well. Kind of like the first skill that you get is this Frost Cloak that it absorbs. But it doesn't absorb, it gives you more physical resistance and spell resistance for 1 seconds. This one I just got so long ago. It's in daily DPS. So it looks like it's just kind of you decide which area you want to go with. For me, I might choose like a DPS, maybe DPS, and I might decide to do tanking with a little bit of off-healing. See how I go with but yeah, that's my first impressions of this game so far. I'll probably give it a solid, if I had to, I'd probably give it a B or so. It's not quite, it doesn't quite give off that same feeling of the original Morrowind, but I really can't put it against it because I really can't make it exactly how it used to be without some changes. I really do like it so far. It definitely given me a reason to want to play again because I really do love Morrowind, and so it's kind of, if anything, this did make me want to come back and play, because I played Elder Scrolls Online off and on a little bit, but it never really quite grasped me as much as So we'll give it that. It did bring me back to want to play this game again. So those are my first impressions, and hopefully I'll do some other videos and see how it goes from here.